Good morning and welcome again. We're exploring the topic now, opportunities for youths in politics. It's almost 1 year since the Not Too Young to Run bill was passed into law. Consciously, most states plunged into that opportunity to appoint many young people into positions of power, with Anambra leading the way. Remarkably, in this political dispensation, states like Zamfara has on the 40s as deputy governor, while Oyo, Plateau, and Anambra and many others produced those that in that age bracket are speakers of their state houses of assembly, and invariably the third citizens of their various states. This is why we want to review the gains made under this law, and as we set the agenda for these young people in politics. Today we'll be looking at opportunities for youths in politics, and we have joining us in the studio to look at this very important topic, Honorable Nonso Smart Okafo. He is the member representing Nnewi North State Constituency in the Anambra State House of Assembly. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Okay, so initially we used to hear the youths are the leaders of tomorrow. Then we started hearing not too young to run. How did that inspire where you are today?
Okay, thank you. Some of us have always opposed this idea that the youth are the leaders of tomorrow, because we say that this tomorrow seems not to ever come. We say that youth are the leaders of today because we have to take charge of our environment today. We have to make sure that we are part of the political engagement, the decision making, because anything that is not done with us is not for us. If you come in a setting and the decision is supposed to be taken and you are not represented in that decision-making process, obviously you are sure that your interests to a great extent will not be represented. So the young people of this nation feel that there is need for us to be more, out in terms of trying to be politically responsible, if I may use that, because it's our responsibility to be active in political participation. So that not too young to run is just a clarion call to started by it's Yaga. Yaga is an non-governmental organization that started it. They used the likes of Tony Mulu and all the likes to push the bill in the National Assembly. Just a clarion call to first push on the government to make sure that there is legislation. There are legislations that allow young people to contest. Because before now, there are legislations that won't allow any young person to contest certain positions. So the first thing was to make sure that there are enabling laws that allows young people to
reducing the age.
Yes, reducing the age to run elections. Then again, the other aspect of the not too young to run bill was to, champion a campaign that will awaken the spirit of young ones. Because in our society today, you see young people who believe at the age of 40, they still believe that they are too young to run. So that's not too young to run was to, ginger the awareness so that young people will know that they are not really too young to run. So that they will come up and be counted. If you don't stand up, you can't be counted. So that's the idea.
Okay, so what was your experience like campaigning? Nnewi North is a very, let me say, politically enlightened area. And you succeeded to come out tops in that election. What was your experience like?
Okay, first of all, my winning that election in Nnewi, first is an act of God. My campaign slogan is Akach Wodia.
I think I saw that.
Yeah, good. Secondly, was, as young persons, we have the vibrancy, we have the will. And I believe that if a young person focuses his mind on something, with God he can achieve it. And running the election in Nnewi, it was it's a mix of so many things. As a young person, you are limited by funds, you are limited by a whole lot of things. Some of us that are not from so well-to-do family in terms of money, so we are not just battling with age, we are battling with resources to, face the election. But as God may have it, we were able to inspire a strong followership. Our campaign, message, I focused on issues, things I want to do, what I call my legislative agendas. We are marshalling them out point by point, and we're able to sell it to the populace. So it was able to garner
Because it looked practical.
Traction. Yes, and good. We had traction, and it was like a mass movement. So young people, it gingered the zeal of young people. A lot of young people said, "This is ours, and we must get it." And they started talking to their parents, talking to the older ones, and before you know it, it became a mass movement of both young and old. Because I always tell them, yes, I'm a young person, but we are not going there just to represent the young people. We are going there to represent the constituency and the entire state. So what that means is that we must find a way of carrying both the young and old along. So with that, it was easy for me to, move on the terrain.
Now looking at the campaign message you propagated, and then the kind of engagement young people do on social media, you said yours focused on issues.
Yeah.
Then, but we also see a greater level of young people who engage themselves in social media politics, driving towards that direction that is not issues. They go for name calling and all those. How would you balance this? How did you survive in this age of where mudslinging takes place or takes precedence above issues?
Thank you very much. First of all, you know that in politics, mudslinging and propaganda has almost become the rule of the day. So if you want to actually do well in this our terrain, when you are in the race, you have to reduce your focus on such issues. All right? Like myself, within my campaign, if I'm on the move, I don't go social media.
Okay.
All right? I do social media maybe on weekends. I go through. But if there are things that demand my urgent attention, I have my media assistants that say, so thing is said on so place. If it's something I need to work on, I work on it. Because you find out that in social media, young people, because, sometimes it's free data. Sometimes it's free data. So you can actually wake up on phone and say, Buhari is call him one name. Call governor one name.
Nobody can locate you.
Nobody can locate you. So it's free. So you can say anything we want. So, but the truth is that even on that social media, we use social media as a great tool for our engagement, political engagement.
Yeah.
Most of the issues we release them on Facebook, on WhatsApp, on all kinds of social media, Twitter. We utilize it for our campaign message. So it's not just the negative, because most times people think that people just go on social media to talk trash. No. You still go on social media to engage a lot of people positively. And we utilize social media very well. Because, of course, like I said, I didn't have so much money to do all kinds of...
Yeah, that was what I wanted to ask. Now, during the campaign period, we interviewed a lot of young people who were coming out for different positions. And most of them stressed the issue of fund.
Yeah.
You get? Most of them will say, as a young person, you don't have a lot of fund to throw around. So because of that, you don't get a lot of followers. And I read your stories and I got to read your background. And the fact that you're from a very humble background, you contested against people from rich and influential families. What was your secret? Because somebody told us a story of how when he came out in a town hall meeting, he was able to convince his immediate kindred, and then somebody actually volunteered the car, say, brand my car for your campaign. And then he paid, they branded the car. The next morning, the car drove by, was already carrying another person's bag because the person paid. So what was your secret? Coming from a humble background, and you were able to pull crowd, and you won against influential people.
Even despite the restriction on funds.
Yeah, because I heard a story. I don't know if I should share it. A story. I heard a story about during a campaign where you came for a campaign. After making your own speech, somebody said, "That's an Akarasella's son. Why should we vote for him?" Why should we vote for him? Now you're a winner. And I'm sure one way or the other, funding was involved. How did you pull through?
Like I said, thank you for that question. Like I said, it was all about issues. I'm one person that when I want to do something, I stay focused. I don't easily get distracted. All right? Money was meant to be a distraction, a very huge one. Because in politics, I found out that even to just go and greet somebody, you need envelope. So I find myself visiting someone who another candidate has visited, maybe with an envelope of 50,000, and the carton of champagne. I found myself visiting that same person with a bottle of red leather, 3,000 naira, without any envelope, you know. So, but the thing there is that I found out that there is something, I weighed my strengths or my SWOT analysis. I checked what are the things I have and things I didn't have. I know I've got the vision. I know I have a clear view of where I want to go and what I want to achieve.
Just like
so I know I have that, but I know I didn't have the funds.
Okay.
So I decided to concentrate more on my areas of strength by selling my ideas. So even when I come to you, of course, before you expect money from me, you must have listened to me.
Okay.
So by the time I finish talking to you, of course, it's when I'm going that I'm supposed to drop envelope.
Exactly.
So if I'm leaving and I don't have the envelope to drop, of course, when I leave, someone will say, this one is not serious. But someone will still go back and think, but this guy is really making sense. Let's give him a try. Let me tell you, of all the people that ran the election, House of Assembly in Navy, I had the highest number of branded vehicles.
Wow.
Highest number. The day we went on rally, you see vehicles that ran from here past. We have over close to 30 vehicles branded. And people are like, where did he get money to buy all these vehicles?
Yes.
Funny enough, I did not spend 1 naira on those vehicles. People bring their cars and say, brand it. And they brand it, they put it on campaign.
And they never changed it.
They never changed. I know the experience you're talking about. No, it's still my friend.
Let's take this. Hello. Hello?
Hello?
All right. When you call us in, you lower the volume on your TV. If you can't
you just
do that,
step away from
or
it.
you step away from that, or you use our WhatsApp line to send. The WhatsApp line is the one on the top of your screen. You just use it to send us your name, where you're writing from, and ask your question and make contributions as well. All right. Let's look at the realities now. The campaign period is over. We are in the era of governance now, and you are
Practical period.
Yes, practical period. The Speaker of Anambra State House of Assembly, they say he's 36. He was here with us yesterday. In Oyo State, we have 31-year-old lawmaker that was elected as Speaker. Then also Plateau State, we have 33 years old, and several other young people who have been elected into places of governance. Okay.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling us from?
Good morning.
Yes. Good morning.
Good morning, we can hear you. What's your name and where you're
My
calling
name
us
is Ebuka. Good morning, we can hear you. My name is Ebuka.
Oh, I think we're having.
And he's trying so hard.
Yes, and I think he's a kid. All right. The question now is, you now have a very large responsibility entrusted on your shoulders. How would young people actually prove that these responsibilities that have been entrusted on them, they are capable of carrying them?
Okay, I think the way you have asked that question, that's how it lingers on the minds of a lot of young people that are brought into government. Because, of course, maybe because of that not too young to run project, we have a lot of young people in government.
Exactly.
And let me not speak for everybody. I'll speak for myself. I know that each time I always have this idea, smart, you can't fail, all right? Because there is a whole lot of hope on you. Two hopes. One is that he's a young person. Some people believe that young people are not serious. So I have to prove to them that young people are serious and they can get jobs done. Okay. Secondly was that people believe that he's from a poor family. When they elect him, he will go there and first of all make money and all that. I want to prove to people that you don't need to be from a rich home to have principles. Okay. I want to prove to people that even though I'm from a poor family, that money is never part of my motivation. That young persons from a poor background can get jobs done without focusing on how to amass wealth. All right? So with this in my mind, I am out to make sure that I get the job done. And I believe that that is the mindset of a whole lot of other young people. Because it's not all about give us chance. If we give you a chance and you mess it up, of course, you have killed not just your chance, but that of other young people. They will tell you, that person was not...
Yes.
Is he not a young person? What did you do? You know, this one was, you understand? So some of us, a lot of us have that mindset that this is a task and it has to be done.
And people are hoping on you.
And the expectation is high.
Okay, so Now, I did a little background check on you, and I noticed like politics is not a thing of today for you. You go way back from the SUG days. Now, some young people feel like, oh, I want to be the president of Nigeria someday, and they just relax. In order to, if you're a youth, in order for you to be prepared for politics in Nigeria, where do you think the person should start? Do you think it's something this person should start after a university degree, or you think it starts from childhood? Where did you start nurturing this?
Preparing for this opportunity.
Preparing for this opportunity is better.
Anyway, first of all, there is this argument, school of thought, that people say leaders are born. Some say leaders are not born, that they are made. All right? Now, I want to believe that it depends on the school of thought. In Leap Africa, we believe that if you are... you can learn leadership. It can also run in you. Take, for instance, I can't remember, I don't think that my leadership experience when I was very small in primary school, I didn't think I planned for them. But I found out that maybe in a class, I'll be made monitor. I found out in secondary school, in a class, I'll be made as a prefect. In higher institution, from first year to last year, I held positions of authority. Some of them I never contested for. All right? So maybe because of... if I should address our question straight, as a young person that wants to, go into leadership, all right, if perhaps it's not running on you, how do I mean? There is no such instinct from when you were very small, but you have that passion and you have developed yourself in that area. Start where you are, because it's an experience, and one experience leads you to the other. I remember the time I went for a program. There is this program they called YALI, Young African Leaders Initiative. The pioneer program in 2014. I was the first person from Anambra State to go for that program. We went for it in US. So when one of my guys was a young person, he was going through the whole, he was like, how do I get to this level? How do I do this? I told him, no, you cannot just jump and become a YALI fellow. At some point, I was a LEAP fellow. I was this. I was Commonwealth. From Commonwealth, I was Faith Foundation. I was this. I was British Council. Before getting here, you cannot jump. So most times, life is in stages. So I believe that if you want to go into leadership, start from where you are. When you do it well, the next level will come naturally. The next level will come on its own. You understand? It's like I wake up today, I just say I want to be president, and I go and paste posters. You end up pasting posters. But if you have track record, if you have where people can say, when he was this, he did well. If you check my Facebook when I declared to run for House of Assembly, I was almost the only person that declared on Facebook in my area. People are like, they think it's social media thing. Within 24 hours, I had over 1,500 comments. 99% of them were people that have experience when I was SUG president, when I was youth council chairman, when I was prefect in school. They were like, he did well then. We know he will do well. Do you understand? That is called testimonies. And there is nothing more bankable in politics than testimonies. No matter, in fact, I always say that the minutest amount of testimony is more valuable than a year sustained advert on CNN. You do 1 year advert on CNN, and somebody wants to come and do something with you. Somebody says, that guy is a very hopeless and incredible fellow. He has rubbish all those adverts you did on CNN. Testimony matters. So start from where you are, from known to unknown.
You know exactly, this is where we really have issues with young people. Some people will say, you cannot get to the top if you don't get to your hands, especially for young people who are still wanting to come up. Now, for you, you say it's testimony, building that integrity. So how do you balance these two arguments?
If you go to my Facebook as we are sitting here now, I said we need professionals in politics, not professional politicians. And I say, if you say that politics is dirty, let good men hijack it and clean it and wash it clean. Now, I do not believe that you have to dirty your hand to be in politics. There are so many shades of story. You can decide to go into it with clean hands. You can decide to go into it with soiled hands. I give you an example. I'm a very practical person. Before I ran to become SUG president, they told me, before you become SUG president, you must be a cultist. You must be this, you must be that. I was SUG president. I was never a cultist. I was never. And never got close to any of them. And I finished successfully and handed over. People say before you win politics, you do this, you do that. Of course, you will get those offers. I give you an example. like I said, I'm a very practical person. In this race, House of Assembly, I got all kinds of funny, will I call it, statements and advice.
Propaganda.
Somebody walked up to me one day and told me there's a place he would take me to. One place in so and so, maybe Warri or something, to go and do that. Once he finished, I'm going to win this election. I was holding myself back not to laugh because I felt it was not proper laughing at him. So, but when he finished, I burst into laugh. I was like, if I'm running House of Assembly and I have to go to Warri to win House of Assembly, if I'm running governor, that means I will go to India. By the time I'm running president, perhaps, I don't know which other country I have to go.
Side of the world.
To another planet. So it depends on what to think. If you believe you can achieve anything, you can't achieve anything without being fetish or all kinds of occultic distance. It works for you. It does not work for me.
All right, finally, let's now take 30 seconds advice for youths in politics, and especially for those who have been elected for the next 4 years. What would be your advice to your colleagues?
My advice to my colleagues is that we should not, the euphoria of election and victory is over. Let's get down to work. Before you know it, 4 years is off. And you don't have 2 opportunities to make first impression. This is our first impression, and you have to make it and make it good. Stay focused on your manifesto, all the things you promise you do. Stay focused on them and get it done. That is my own vision, and that's my own push.
Thank you very much, Honorable Nonso Smart Okafor, for joining us on the weekend show this morning.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
All right. That is how far we'll go for now. On top of the hour at 8, we'll bring you breakfast news. When we'll come back, we'll look at youth, lifestyle, and HIV/AIDS prevention. This morning is for youth, and we want to explore it to the highest opportunity. Stay with us.